Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, proudly hosted by BCC Research. My name is Ryan Bruffel. I'm the Director of Marketing here at BCC Research, and I'll be your host and moderator for today's session. We're thrilled that you've chosen to spend some time with us today, as we'll be diving into one of the most dynamic and influential topics shaping industries everywhere, artificial intelligence. Specifically, this webinar will be looking at how AI is transforming marketing and market research. It's kind of clear now that AI isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's changing how businesses make decisions, connects with customers, and unlock growth. And with change comes both opportunity and challenge. That's why we brought together two outstanding thought leaders to guide us through this conversation. So without further ado, let me introduce our distinguished panelists. First up is Greg Johnson, who is the Associate Director of Consulting at BCC Research. Greg brings deep expertise in market intelligence and is here to offer some keen insights on the practical applications of AI research. So today, I'm pleased to say that Greg is joined by William Ammerman. William, or Paul, as it goes by, is a marketing and AI thought leader, author, and educator. He's written extensively about hyper-personalization and the evolving role of AI in marketing, and he's helping to shape how the next generation of marketers think about technology in his role as a lecturer. Together, Greg and Bill will share their insights, experiences, and predictions about where this technology is headed, and most importantly, what it means for professionals like us. So just to give an overview of what we'll be discussing today, first we'll obviously hear from our expert panel as they unpack how AI is reshaping industries and opening up new opportunities. Next, we'll introduce you for the first time to BCC Research's AI Sentiment Index, which is an exciting new tool we've developed to measure how different sectors are adopting and responding to AI. Finally, we will wrap up by looking at some of the emerging trends and innovations that marketing and research professionals should start preparing for today. And of course, if there's some free time, please put your questions into chat, and if there is free time, we will absolutely answer them and put them to our panelists. So without further ado, let's get started. First question is addressed to Paul. Paul, many professionals worry that AI is replacing long-standing industries. From your perspective, how do you see AI enhancing rather than replacing human expertise in marketing?
So a lot of people fear AI, and they think it's going to come for their jobs. And it may, I think it's safe to say, it may change the job landscape. But let me reassure those of you who are in the marketing sphere that AI isn't specifically coming for your job. It's coming to level up your creativity. And I liken that to a guitar player who may be great at playing the instrument, but he may not be great at writing lyrics. You can have AI help you write lyrics, and suddenly with the lyrics combined with your guitar playing, your creativity goes to a new level. And I tell my students that all the time. I help them see that AI can actually take your creativity to the next level. If we're tying that into the marketing world, consider the role of a marketer who might be a very good storyteller, but they may not be a data analyst. And that's a reality for a lot of marketers. They have a specific skill, but they need to supplement it with some other things. And rather than going out and finding a person who may supplement them perfectly, they can rely on AI to do that. So suddenly the storyteller, the marketer who's a genius at storytelling, can supplement that storytelling with great data analytics and insights that are coming from the data through AI and take their storytelling to the next level. So I really think it supercharges creativity. It also makes data very actionable and really moves us from a world where we're faced with giant spreadsheets to a world in which data can be turned into actionable insights that storyteller can use. And finally, I'd say we are working on a new type of marketing, which is personalization at scale. We're able to communicate one-to-one with customers, deliver marketing messaging that is extremely specific to them. And that really requires a constant supervision and orchestration, I like to say, from the marketer. And so all of those things are demanding human labor. So I view AI as boosting our creativity rather than replacing it.
Great. So thank you for that great answer. I really like the example you gave of the guitar player. I will say I wouldn't describe myself as a genius storyteller, but I am using AI, as I'm sure almost everyone else in this call is at the moment. And one of the things I kind of have to grapple with as I'm using it and getting getting to grips with it is this issue of hallucinations. Now, Greg, one of the key themes of this webinar is kind of distinguishing between high quality A insights and misleading outputs. Can you talk a little bit of some about the quality control measures that BCC Research recommends to ensure reliability when using AI in research?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, hallucinations and quality of AI outputs is really an important point. So, as we know, AI can be an incredibly powerful tool. However, it's proven to not always be 100% truthful. So, you always have to test it and prod it. You need the ability to really treat it as any other new source of information. So you need to a best practice would be to cross-check that first output, try to contextualize it with your own in-house or internal data. If you have the ability to reach out in your own organization to key industry or key opinion leaders, that's always a good way to fact check what AI is providing you. As far as myself, treating the first AI output as really just a jumping off point, not the final word or the final say, has been helpful. And then, really, for our clients, BCC is here to act as a trusted source of vetted high quality market research. So, we're always available to help our clients, really understand, what it is they're looking at and compare that with our own, viewpoints from our analysts. One of, kind of to that point, one of the things that BCC has been developing is what's called an MCP server. So for our clients that are developing their own internal AI systems, the server acts as a bridge and allows them to query our research library directly. So this is something that's currently under development, and we'll have more information coming out later this year on that. But we're really excited about kind of where this can take BCC to the next level and really provide that additional value to our clients. Beyond that, I think with AI, the types of questions that you're asking, your AI is also really critical. So what we found is AI is great at summarizing large patterns, looking at large data sets and providing, summaries of that. But if you're expecting it to provide factual claims for very niche markets or very highly specific sectors, that's really not AI's current strength or strong suit. So, for any organization out there, you need the ability to, especially if you're making decisions where you're looking to invest, tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars. Are you really going to trust that the answers AI is giving you to make that kind of investment? So you need to be able to ask, how confident am I in the output? What is the underlying source that it's based on? And do you actually have an independent way to verify that information? So for us, the companies we feel will get the most out of AI going forward are the ones that use it as an accelerator. But you always need to keep a human in the loop to validate and apply that level of judgment and sanity check. So yeah, for us, it's really about kind of doing, taking all those steps into account, and that's really how we feel people will be able to separate high quality research insights from just kind of additional noise.
Great, thanks, Rick. I'm glad you brought up BCC Research's AI vertical, because it's really something that wouldn't exist 3 years ago. It's just technology's advanced so much in that time. And that's something I'm sure you're seeing, Paul, as well, and the marketing side, where people are having to drastically change what they've been doing. In your most recent book, you talk about hyper-personalization and the war to know the most about the customer. So as AI moves from being an ancillary tool to like the very core of marketing, how should marketers rethink the way they design campaigns? What mindset shifts are needed when AI isn't just supporting the work, but actually reshaping it?
Wow, I love the way you put that, moving from an ancillary tool to the very core of our marketing campaign. As I think about your audience today, many of you are starting to experiment with AI. You are plugging it in around the periphery of what you're doing. You're looking for opportunities where it might help you. I think the reality of the future is that we move from a world where 40 years ago, we were project managers. We set up a campaign in advance. We planned out our outdoor billboard campaign, and we planned out our direct mail campaign, and we planned out our TV advertising buy all in advance. We lined everything up, and then we pressed a button, and everything went out at once, and we launched our campaign. And then we sat back and we kind of waited for results. The reality today is it's much more dynamic. So you have to have this kind of dynamic orchestration mentality. So you're no longer the project manager so much as the orchestrator, because things are happening and changing in real time. We no longer have the luxury, if you will, of sitting back and waiting for the results. They're coming in real time. And the AI is going to power all of that. And so from the outset, you have to take this mentality that the AI is the core of your campaign. It's the part of the campaign that keeps it dynamic and allows you to hyper-personalize and connect to the individual. Now, you as an orchestrator can't be having a conversation with 10,000 customers at the same time, but your AI systems can. And so you have to be in the position of empowering those AI systems to have the conversations on behalf of your brand and to keep those conversations brand safe and in line with your core objectives for your campaign. And so this idea of focusing on orchestration changes the role of the marketer. Again, you're no longer setting it up in advance and pressing a button and waiting for results. You're monitoring that campaign in real time to keep the campaign within the guardrails that you've established for your brand. That's a mindset that requires immediate experimentation on your behalf. No longer think of this as I'm plugging in some ancillary tools, but that I'm changing the way I manage marketing overall.
It's a great answer. I will say that the idea of just being able to push a button and just make things go, whether it's a campaign or a webinar, hypothetically, it does still sound fantastic. Obviously, things are changing. And as you said, you're now dealing with, well, you now have the ability to deal with thousands of people at a hyper-personal level. And that means you're also having to change how you educate people. And as you know, Bill's not only an expert in marketing, but he's also an educator. So Bill, can you tell us a little bit how you are preparing students for a world where AI is rapidly reshaping the tools and strategies they'll need? What kind of skills or mindsets are most critical to help them thrive?
I teach at UNC and here in Chapel Hill. And one of the critical skills that I'm looking for out of my students is curiosity, because rather than tool chasing, and by that I mean rather than embracing the latest and greatest tool that comes over the horizon and constantly re-educating yourself on the tool, I think what is a more important skill is the deep, profound curiosity about how to make these tools work for business. And that's very different. Just learning the tools is one thing, but actually thinking about how they can apply to your business and being curious about how to get AI trained up in your particular field, that is where the real future lies. And teaching curiosity is difficult. So what you have to do is you have to find engagement. You have to find assignments that really give people the sense of aha, this kind of epiphany moment where it suddenly becomes thrilling. I gave a speech before a community group that had firefighters and police officers and real estate salespeople in the audience. And I had them just simply ask ChatGPT to give them a list of Siri commands that they could use with their phone and ask Siri, what things could I use Siri to do in the car while I'm driving? Well, they had this wonderful experience. You could listen in on kind of the conversations they were having as an audience with each other and with Siri, and discovering this kind of aha moment where they realized, oh, I can be setting appointments. I can be using Siri to do lots of things while I'm in my car. As a police officer who spends a lot of time in their car, or as a real estate agent who spends a lot of time in their car, there are specific tasks that you can have Siri doing. Now, I'm not saying that's the most profound revelation, but what it was an opportunity to connect with their curiosity. Suddenly, they experienced the AI in real time as a tool that they could use in their daily business. And I think that helping students recognize that is one of the most important things that I can do. I show them how we can use AI to help write a proposal for a video game. I help them compose lyrics to music. I help them create a new podcast. And by forcing them to use the AI to accomplish goals that they have, they become curious about what else it can do. And so I encourage you to think hard about how do you engage your employees in tasks, giving them task-oriented problems that they have to engage with AI to solve. And the sooner you get them doing that, the better, because you're really cultivating a culture of curiosity within your organization.
It's a great answer, and I actually think it's an incredibly important one. Not only just giving examples of actual use cases like music or video games, or even just pulling out your iPhone and Siri, but just giving actual use cases. I think when I speak to my peers at the moment, it's clear that we have all these tools. There's all this investment from the management level and from these companies to make AI the next big thing. But how do we actually use it? And I think that's something that BCC Research is really grappling with well at the moment. Obviously, Greg, AI has been rolled out across every industry. It feels like you can get it in your phone, in your car, in your fridge, in your air fryer. Can you share about some of the examples of successful AI integrations or use cases that are already being delivered with tangible results?
Yeah, for sure. Just real quick to Bill's point about curiosity, it reminds me of, when I first came in over a decade ago as a market researcher, that was one of the core fundamental things that my first boss drilled into me is, market research is really about uncovering a puzzle. It's about having that curious mind and asking the right questions. So, I think, we can apply that to all aspects of life, and especially as we dive into more, more and more use cases with AI. When looking at some of BCC's most recent industry research into AI, a few specific use cases really jumped out at me. Specifically in the healthcare sector, we're already seeing AI make a massive difference. So, for example, the Mayo Clinic, which is world renowned, is now using AI to look at detecting heart rhythm abnormalities, problems. So, the AI is honestly already on par with the level that, a trained cardiologist is in detecting those arrhythmias. If we also look at the Stanford hospital system, they're using AI to diagnose pediatric heart conditions and showing a 93% accuracy in doing so. So, I mean, the stakes, as you can imagine with a little baby, it's extremely high. So, it's pretty extraordinary to already be getting that level of accuracy. But it's really not just about diagnostics at big hospitals. We're also seeing AI in the healthcare space being used for, drug discovery, patient monitoring, even predicting future health events. I imagine with the uptick of wearables like Apple Watch and others, monitoring vital stats, the ability to predict, future heart attacks and things like that is only going to increase over time. So beyond healthcare, one of the industries that's key to close to my heart is the manufacturing space, since that's where the bulk of my past research has been. Where, for example, in manufacturing, we're not just seeing it's not just about AI, industrial automation anymore. It's really about utilizing AI to improve efficiency and change the game. So one example, if we look at Siemens, they're a large industrial manufacturer. They've been offering their digital twin products for many years. For those unaware, digital twins are essentially allow you to compare your physical assets or components with a virtual counterpart. So these allow for things like predictive maintenance and plans. Allow companies to plan their downtime and inspections in a more regular pattern. However, with historically, you'd always still need a human to do these type of manual inspections on the physical asset. But now with AI and vision systems, you have the ability to have AI perform these visual inspections virtually, and something that used to take 8 hours for a human to do a manual inspection can now just happen in a matter of minutes with AI and these embedded vision systems. So it's really a game changer there. Another company that we've looked at is BMW. They've been experimenting with NVIDIA's Omniverse platform, and with this, they're actually training their factory robots to in a virtual simulation. They're training these robots virtually before ever deploying them in the real world on a factory floor. So ultimately, this means fewer costly errors, quicker ramp up when it's time to actually deploy those robots, and greater flexibility. So, from our perspective, AI is not just about squeezing out incremental gains. It's really redefining the landscape across all industries that are diving into at first.
Thank you. That's a great answer. One of the things that kind of jumped out to me is just listening to some of those names. Obviously, Mayo Clinic, but also Siemens and BMW. These are huge multi-billion-dollar companies. And so to be able to get research or insights into them as BCC Research is offering and seeing how things are playing out, I think it just shows how incredibly valuable it is. Obviously, BCC Research isn't obviously only looking into how AI is being deployed, but it's also got its own AI vertical. So, Greg, could you highlight a few of the AI initiatives at BCC Research at the moment and how it sets it apart from other market research companies in the space?
Yeah, of course. So just last month, BCC launched our AI vertical, but we've been building this out for quite some time now. We already have over 50 AI focused reports in our vertical. So while our current library is quite substantial, we're quickly building out our AI coverage here as well. Primarily the AI vertical will consist of 4 core reports that will release quarterly. So each one of those focuses on a specific area within AI. So that covers adoption, disruption, spending or investment, and then the use case scenarios, which I discussed a little bit earlier. Beyond those 4 core reports, we also have numerous pulse reports. So these are shorter form reports, usually about 15 to 25 pages in length, really diving into the impact on a specific industry, market, or vertical. So, for example, if our life science team is doing a full-blown deep dive into the pharmaceuticals market, there will also be a corresponding pulse report diving into the AI impact of that market as well. And then lastly, we're also really excited about our AI sentiment index. So that's a monthly report where we actually reach out to 50 to 100 industry leaders across numerous verticals. We survey them, with I think about 4 or 5 questions, really trying to understand, okay, what's their current perception of AI. How are they prioritizing it within their organization? What actions are they taking, or what kind of investment are they planning for future AI use and rollout? So with that sentiment index, it really gives us almost a real time pulse on the market and the different directions that AI is headed. And obviously, this some industries will adopt and ramp up AI much faster than other industries, and we'll be able to kind of compare those differences. Ultimately, BCC's, really about providing value to our clients. So, with the direction that the world is headed, launching this AI vertical just made a lot of sense for us to be able to provide that kind of that real-time value and insight to be able to guide our client strategy, help them with their planning as well as their investment decisions.
Excellent, thank you. As you said, with the way the world is heading, I just almost find it overwhelming, especially in the marketing realm. It's just so much has changed and so quickly, and that means I'm going to have to put you on the spot here a bit, Paul. You're obviously an expert in the field. You've been around for a while, and I know it's difficult to break up the crystal ball, but I am going to ask you, with all the buzz around AI, what are some of the longer term trends or innovations you see in the next 3 to 5 years?
Sure. I've got a crystal ball. I'll happily bust that out for you. I want to go back to something Greg said. Greg mentioned kind of in the industrial sector, we use digital twins, and that's very important for monitoring manufacturing systems. But the correlation to the digital twin in the marketing world is the synthetic population. So we actually create synthetic populations, synthetic personas. We can actually focus group test our messages against a synthetic population and get real-time feedback from that synthetic population before we ever have to roll something out to the real market. So our ability to use AI as a test market is profound. And I think that's in its early stages, and it's going to just get better and better and better. So that's one area where I think we're going to see profound improvements over the next 3 years. And those are going to have a wide-ranging set of applications for the marketing world, marketing research, test market, et cetera. A second is, I think autonomy needs to be a key word that your audience needs to be thinking about. And by autonomy, I want to point out that increasingly we're going to be turning over aspects of our marketing campaigns, marketing research to autonomous agents. And so this buzzword has cropped up in the last year, agentic AI systems. So agentic is a direct reference to the fact that we're creating these agents, these autonomous agents, and we're plugging them in at vital places into our campaign where they can have interactions with the campaign, sometimes directly with the audience, and to make autonomous decisions about the direction that we shift that campaign. When I was a teenager in high school, I took statistics. This is back 100 years ago. And the statistics of the day, it was pretty sophisticated statistics, very good at prediction. We used to plot things on a little scatter plot, and then we used to draw a line of best fit, and using one standard deviation, be able to predict where the next point on that plot was going to fall. And it was kind of predictive in its behavior. Today, we are prescriptive. We are no longer trying to figure out where that line is. We're trying to bend the line. We're actually trying to manipulate the results. And what AI is very good at is actually identifying what triggers to, what buttons to press and what dials to turn in order to change the trajectory of that line, bending the curve of the future. And so we are autonomously allowing the AI to make decisions for us that shape the future more directly. I just give you a simple example. So if you imagine the thousand millions of SKUs that are in the Amazon system, Amazon employs AI to try to figure out, okay, what marketing messages could we employ directly to consumers as they're buying things to increase their basket of goods. And you're all familiar with the idea that, people who bought this also bought this. Well, that is AI working in the background to figure out, how do I change this basket of goods? So there isn't a human being making the decisions in real time. There's an autonomous agent that is analyzing the goal, which is increase the basket of goods, and then they're looking at all of the levers and the buttons that they can press in order to change the outcome. So we're no longer predictive, we're prescriptive, and we're turning over that autonomously to these agents. So agentic AI systems are going to be playing a deeper and more important role in your marketing campaigns over the next 3 to 5 years. And that's something that all of us need to embrace, learn, and get comfortable with, because putting AI at the center, putting it at the core of our marketing campaigns means turning over responsibilities to these autonomous agents and building the proper guardrails, building the correct brand safety, building the right AI governance and core discipline for our organization. But at its heart, we've got to recognize that agentic AI is going to be more and more the way marketing is done in the future, to enable us to have that kind of hyper personalized or one-to-one interaction with our consumer on a regular basis.
Thank you. It's a great answer. Again, I will say the prospect of handing over a marketing campaign to this autonomous agent is slightly daunting. And so it's an issue I have to grapple with, as I'm sure most of our attendees will. I do like the example you gave of Amazon, because it ties in nicely with the question we received from the chat. I think I'll give this one to you, Greg. We've had a number of questions that come through for our panelists, but this one asks, can you share an example of how AI could help a client project deliver more value or faster turnaround?
Yeah, certainly. So what comes to mind, and what we've been seeing more recently with custom research and consulting projects that come across my desk is our clients are already utilizing AI, at least in the early scoping phase of the projects that they're interested in exploring. They're using it to brainstorm directions, pull together a quick picture of the market or initial viewpoint, even some preliminary analysis to understand, okay, who are the major players, who should they either be going after and targeting to take away market share, things like that. But at the end of the day, it kind of leaves them in a little bit of a limbo or natural stopping point. Because it's challenging to invest marketing dollars or salespeople's time and energy for a plan that AI gave you in 10 seconds. So there really needs to be some additional rigor applied before our clients can take that next step. So that's that's ultimately when they come to BCC, is to have us do a lot of that verification for them, make sure that we can through our tried and true market research methods validate their initial findings, or even oftentimes we find gaps in the knowledge, and fill those gaps with critical insights, usually through through our own primary research and surveying key industry leaders. So it's really taking that 360 viewpoint of any market, being able to apply our tried and true methods. And we don't see it as AI versus BCC, we see it as AI plus BCC. So with the starting point that AI gives our clients, what then can BCC bring and add on top as far as value, as far as additional insights, a deeper level of trust in the data and the direction that ultimately our clients want to take with those projects.
Excellent, thank you. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention that if you do want to learn about where things are heading and how the market is shifting right now, I would like you to download BCC, which is the latest AI sentiment index, which has just come out. The index digs into adoption, disruption, spending, and offers real-world use cases of AI across multiple industries. So if you are kind of grappling with it, as I say I am, this is a great practical resource for anyone trying to understand not just the hype, but the reality of AI today. And on that note, I would like to just say thanks again to Greg and Bill for joining us in this chat. It was really great and incredible, valuable insights. So thanks again. I think on a closing point, what we're seeing today is AI is not just about replacing human expertise. It's about enhancing strategy, accelerating insights, and uncovering new opportunities that weren't possible before. So on behalf of BCC Research, I'd like to sincerely thank our panelists, Greg Johnson and Paul Ammerman, for sharing the perspectives. And of course, thanks to all of you for joining us and being part of this important conversation. As a reminder, today's attendees have free access to the BCC AI Sentiment Index. Please take time to download it, explore the insights, and think about how they apply to your own organization. If you'd like to learn more about BCC Research's consulting services or upcoming AI initiatives, please visit our website or connect directly with our team. Thank you again for being here, and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Thanks, everyone.